focus on that. The DuPont equation is less useful for some industries that do not use certain concepts or for which the concepts are less meaningful. On the other hand, some industries may rely on a single factor of the DuPont more than the other. Thus, the equation allows the analysis to determine which of the factors is the dominant in relation to the company's return on equity. What are we saying? We're saying it's not every company that uses the three that we have talked about: the profit margin, the leverage, and the what?
Profit margin and the returns. Return on interest.
Come again?
Return on equity.
So these are some of the things that it's not every company that uses all of them, but others use others more than the other, the three that we have talked about. So, for example, certain types of high turnover industries, such as the retail stores, may have very low profit margins on sales and relatively low financial leverage. In industries such as these, the measure of asset turnover is much more important. So we are talking about how other companies use the DuPont and how others do not use the DuPont. So what is the limitation of LOI? LOI meaning the return on equity. Return on equity measures the rate of return on the ownership interest of the business and is irrelevant if earnings are not reinvested or redistributed. So we are talking about the limitation of LOI, whereby if the owners do not think about putting in other money into the organization, it is difficult for them to realize interest, to realize more than they did. So this is what they are talking about, and we have so many of that. So an analysis of a business with the goal of financial projections in terms of income statement, the financial statement, and the health management and competitive advantage and the competitors on the market. This is one of the fundamental analysis that somebody can do when he is doing analysis based on the DuPont. So the other formula of ROI can be net income after tax. Divided by shareholder equity. The other formula for equity can be Net profit divided by equity. By equity pre-tax profit. Multiplied by net profit. Divided by pre-tax profit. What is EBIT? Both. EBIT before interest and tax. Equity before interest and tax. So as long so those are some of the things that us as the so there are so many, they are talking about earnings per share, they're talking about some of the things, but I think for our team soon we are using that way, otherwise there's a calculation that we're supposed to do. Start talking about that, really understanding there. You were even talking about it, if you don't come back. So I think for today we should just stop there. The result is not it anyway, but most of them will just have to do together based on understanding of the viewpoint. Using those, sometimes if you go to class, viewpoint, what can it be? You can't even think about what it is. So Send it to her first. Yeah. Oh, Brenda, sana tuone. Anagusa sana roho. You are not here.
Oh, no.
So we talk.
All right.
Channel 1
The problem, asset financing. I think it's a new subject that Come in. I just wanted to warm the class so that we should not feel cold.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Morning, sir.
Ndimaza wawungene. So mamela wamwela ngazina zake zophuma.
What are they are, man?
That's next time we're going to go what does it happen? I drink every morning.
Every morning.
I think it's for the old age. You know, when you are growing old, you don't have sense.
There's water.
Could you put them on? No.
So somebody told me that you should just
In fact,
add a flavor. Not putting at the woman, we got to be sober, we don't have to know more sober, Or I just put it as no kid.
how about
Just put a little bit of the orange squash. Don't put it as if you want to drink it, but just to give the water
flavor so that you can live
most of the things you guys like, then you'll be having it. So you drink a lot. So that's the way of drinking water. Add the taste to the water. But otherwise, pure water sometimes is very difficult to drink. But if you add a scent or a flavor, then you will have it a lot.
Quarter to 7, nafika pano 9:30. So, mapeni ulinawo. Okay, thank you.
How are you? Again.
What?
I'm saying how are you? And I'm saying again. Official. I'm great. So just have a battle of tiredness. I wonder why my tiredness is not finishing. Sleep a lot to wake up tired again.
Someone was using you at night.
At night. For the what?
If it was that time of the year that people are plowing.
They might be using you for plowing and mess. Acres and acres of land being used at night.
You woke up like this, holding your hope.
Oh.
I'm telling you.
That would be bad. Where did you stop last time?
We stopped so we were doing about strategic planning. We did all of that. I think we did this was in estimating demand for supply, demand forecasting. Yeah, we did.
So, we're looking at what's this, demand forecasting technique. Yeah? And how do we forecast in terms of demand? So the first one was check. The first one was managerial or expert judgment.
Then ratio trend analysis.
Yes, work study technique.
Focusing
Skill and competence requirements. Alright. So the next one that we look at is on now, how do we forecast in terms of supply? Yeah. So on the demand forecasting techniques, that's a very examinable area. I understand that sooner or later you'll be having your mid-semester exams. So just giving you a heads up there, you should be expecting a question or two when it comes to how do we forecast in terms of the demand and the supply techniques. So you remember that we are simply looking at the human resource needs for the organization, and what we are saying is that it is coming from the strategic plan and also the choice of our resourcing strategy, and our resourcing strategy affects in terms of also the ability for us to forecast in terms of the demand and the supply. So following that particular diagram, it means now we are looking at how we forecast in terms of the demand as well as also the supply. So we talked about the demand, how we can forecast in terms of the demand. Today we want to look at now how do we forecast in terms of the supply. Okay? So how we're going to forecast in terms of the supply, number one, so you read the heading supply forecasting technique. Yeah. So under that heading, subheading, is that supply forecasting measures the number of people likely to be available.
Likely to be available.
Yes. From within and outside the organization.
From within and outside
the organization. Since we can both do an internal as well as an external recruitment, isn't it?
Yes.
So the supply is not that we're only looking at those that are readily available, but we're also looking at the supply which is outside. Right? So if we're doing an external recruitment, we're asking ourselves whether the labor market is available. Right? Remember, I was giving you an example that even here in Malawi, there's an area, a district known as Njinji. Most of the people that come from that area believe in farming, unlike being employed. So in such cases, we're saying, think about businesses that are there and they're looking at recruiting people or employing personnel. Now, because of that mentality that people have within that area, it means it will be difficult for them to get what? Employed. Yeah, because most of them believe in self-employment. And also Njinji is closer to the border to Zambia, so a lot of people believe in doing cross-border trade. Yeah, apart from that, we're also looking at that Njinji believes it's a district whereby they believe very much into investing too much of their time into farming. Okay, which of course they do pretty well in that particular area when it comes to issues concerning farming. Okay, from within and outside the organization, first opportunity, the focus will be based on. Number one is an analysis of the existing human resource in terms of numbers. The focus will be based on, semicolon, one, an analysis of existing human resources. In terms of the numbers in each occupation, skills and potential. So the first technique is that we have to basically analyze all people that we already have in terms of how many, a number, but also we're looking at in each particular department or position, how many people are in that particular department, but also the type of skills that they have and also their ability to be trained. Or maybe people have skills, in other areas, besides that they are in a specific department, but they might have also skills to do other things. So such kind of people that have potential are the ones that can also be considered for another one's position. Besides the position that they are holding within, it means that the demand also for certain positions can be met from what? From within the organization. Because then how do you promote internally? You cannot promote internally if you don't know the potential of that particular person. So because you believe in their potential, that's why you're able to consider in terms of what? Internal promotion. Because you know that they have the capacity to undertake a number of roles. So we are saying that we have to also look at even in terms of the numbers. Maybe the numbers are too much as we have said last time, that when the demand is high and the supply is low, when the supply is high and the demand is basically low, so what do we do in such scenarios? So that's why we're saying that we have to analyze in terms of numbers. Because if it means if we have excess, it means that even though we have a gap somewhere, we don't necessarily have to externally recruit. You can take the ones that are already existing. Okay? Just that maybe they are in another department and now we're moving from one department to another. Okay? And that's what we're basically looking at. Number two is to forecast changes to existing resources through internal promotions. Forecast changes to existing resources through internal promotion.
Internal recruitment.
Internal promotion. Who said that?
Oh, you said internal promotion?
Yes.
And
You're lost again today.
focus changes.
To existing human resource through internal promotion. So I always look at internal promotion as one way of solving a problem by creating another. Why am I saying that? It's because initially someone is in a position who is working and we believe that there is something that is contributing to that position, and that's why probably that position was created, and probably that's the reason why there was someone working in that position. So now if you're moving one person from one department to the other, so my question is always to say, then what happens to this gap that was created? I hope there's no class. I think mine is indicating 4. I hope there's no class. I'm saying mine is indicating 4.
No, it's okay.
It's okay?
I think, I was looking for my students. I thought it was class.
Okay, alright. Yeah, so my question has always been that if one is moving from one department to the other, so what happens to this department that you're leaving? Obviously, it's like you're creating another gap, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. It's like solving a problem by creating So that's what we are saying is that also, as much as you're considering internal promotion, these are things that again you need to forecast that, okay, if we change, then what is going to happen again with this remaining position? How is it going to be replaced? Okay? So those are issues that again, as an HR personnel, you can also forecast in terms of changes that might happen. And what these transitions as they are happening, what are we going to do also to make sure that again these positions are filled? Despite that, yes, we are considering internal promotions, but now we're talking about the position that they are leaving. What is going to happen to this particular guy? Unless you tell me that this position in the first place is useless to the organization. But my question still goes back to say, then why was this position created? It means that it has some relevance to the what? To the organization, isn't it? Number 3 is the sources of supply from within the organization. So sources in terms of where are we going to get them? Yeah? Is it maybe from other branches, head office? Where exactly are we targeting that we have abundant, or we have a wider pool which we can basically capitalize on? Yeah? Number 4, the last one, is the sources of supply That's outside organization. So you're both looking at now the outside, which we are simply looking at in terms of external now what? Recruitment, which will depend now on the local labor market. How are the labor? So here in Malawi, because of high unemployment, you'll find that the labor market is high. It's easy to get people replaced. Yeah, because there is high what? Unemployment. But it might not also be always the case that the employees are, the market is readily available. Sometimes it may also depend to say what kind of people are you looking for and the nature of the expertise. So sometimes we find that organizations are employing expatriates, not just because they want to do so, but because they've looked at the local market and they don't find people that are with those particular what? Expertise. Think about in terms of technological development and advancement. Yeah, you will find that other countries are more developed than we are. And because of that, it's difficult to get people that are working within having the expertise of an advanced technology because we're already in a country who we are behind when it comes to technological advancement. So you can't find someone who is already advanced in a country that is less developed. You get my point? Yeah? So the problems are usually when we're dealing with companies that are already in high development and we are less developed. So it means they are already far ahead than we are. So it's difficult now to get a personnel in a country that is already less developed. Yeah, so that's what we're saying that in terms of the supply, and that's why we find that others will basically consider expatriates because we cannot locally find people with specific skills. I'll give an example that there was a time where we had a famous scandal in the government concerning Kashmir. Yeah, you might have heard about it, that a lot of government resources were basically used in terms of corruption, right? So we call it as Kashmir. Yeah, and people were basically using the system. So the government system apparently used what is known as IFMIS. It's a system. It's an accounting package. So it reached a point whereby we needed forensic accountants to basically look and because they wanted to audit and to make sure who was making the approvals. So everything is like a system which uses biometrics and whatnot. So they needed forensic accountants to audit in terms of the accounting system. And we had to basically bring expatriates all the way from South Africa to come and just audit. Yeah? So it's like now we're engaging consultants because we are finding it difficult to find people with those expertise with it. And even when you look at the education industry, you find that most of the courses that are being offered in one university and the other are almost the same. There's no level of uniqueness to say, okay, these guys, I think they are really offering something very different as opposed to this university. It's almost the same. But now when you look at other countries, you find that no, they have even study degrees that you tend to wonder that, would a person really be looking at this particular qualification? Yeah, like I have a cousin who has a degree and she basically has a degree in fashion. Yeah, and I have another cousin who has a degree probably in tailoring. Yeah, so you look at such kind of qualifications, when you look at our local universities, those are not programs or degree programs that you can locally find. The common ones that you know is accounting, human resource, BBA, and accounting, marketing, entrepreneurship, social work, public health. That's it. End of story. So again, it's because we are looking at also the local demand and the things that we need locally. Yeah, but because we are only thinking locally, but what about also outside the country? Because it's not everyone that would want to do a degree and they'll be working locally. Some are maybe aspiring to work outside the organization. So we sort of confine ourselves because we're only looking at the local market and we're not looking at outside the market. And because of that, we have limitations. Yeah, and that's why even a lot of people, even when they're coming from secondary school, from high schools, we have a problem when it comes to career choice. Because already, it's like what is being offered is already limited. So like you can aspire something, but because you've been selected to another university, and maybe probably that university, in terms of the courses that they're doing, you find yourself compromising. Said, yeah, I really wanted to do this, but now, because the investors will go, well, this investor is only offering this, what do I do? I might as well just do this, you know? Or you're looking at someone who has probably done a similar course and is doing well in life, and you think that, you know, because they are doing well, it means I will equally do well, which usually is not usually the case. We always have to do things that we have really dreams and aspirations about, okay? Yeah, so we are looking at the sources of supply from outside the organization. And these might not only be the case in terms of sources, sometimes in terms of the national market. Sometimes even organizations poach employees that are already working. Okay? Yeah, so it is also a source. Yeah, you're looking at your fellow competitors and you're saying, okay, NOMSA is working for this organization, but she really looks to be an asset to this organization. How can we grab NOMSA to become our employee? So there are times where even organizations are able to offer people, besides that, they haven't even done any application. They are already working, but they give them an offer and say, what if you would want to come and join us? So in HR, we also call that as poaching. Yeah? Poaching people who are already basically working, and you're trying basically to get hold of them. So it's usually a negotiation, because obviously then the offer has to be better than what you're getting on the other end. Yeah, otherwise there's no need for you to quit a job that you're already working just because someone else wants you. Yeah, you can only do that where you know that the conditions are much, much better than where you are at the moment. Okay? Okay, any question there?
No.
Okay. Then the next one, let's look at now labor turnover analysis. Okay. As an intro, the analysis of the numbers of people leaving the organization. The analysis of the number of people leaving the organization provides data for use in supply forecasting. Provides data for use in supply forecasting.
Supply forecasting.
Forecasting. Supply forecasting. So that calculations can be made. So the calculations can be made on the number of people who have to be replaced. So remember, when you go to the diagram, you see those two arrows coming up, demand and supply forecasting techniques. Yeah. So what we are saying there, here. Yeah. So what we are saying there, that why do we have to look at the labor turnover analysis? Because it will affect our demand and supply forecasting. Despite that, maybe our technique that we are using is on point. It's the right method that you are using in terms of how we are going to forecast, whether in terms of the demand or in terms of the supply. But what we are saying is that you have to also look at how has been the trend in terms of the number of people leaving. Yeah? And that's what we are saying, is that the number of people leaving will help us to provide us with the data. So that when we are doing our supply forecasting, we have the right calculations in terms of how many people we have lost. Yeah? So that we know how many people have to also be replaced. Yeah. So when you know how many people are leaving, it will be easier for you even to forecast in terms of the demand, to say how many do we need to meet in terms of the demand? What is the quantity that is needed to meet the demand? So why do people leave? Reasons for turnover.
Okay.
Reasons for labor turnover. So why do we think that basically people leave? Yeah, as an intro again. An analysis of the reasons for leaving be derived from an exit interview. Can be derived from an exit interview. The aim is to establish why people are leaving. And not to persuade them to stay.
And not to
Persuade them to stay. When employees have made a choice to resign, some organizations, what they do is that they prepare what is known as an exit interview. But what we are saying is that let's not be mistaken that the exit interview, the objective behind it, is not for the purposes of trying to persuade the person to stay. But is to get the reasons why he or she is leaving. Okay? The intention behind that of doing that, because then that will help us also as an organization to look at our retention plan, or to look at our retention strategy. So the issue is that if someone has reached an extent of leaving the job, it means in actual fact our retention strategy is not working. Okay? Because if our retention strategies or our retention plans that we have implemented in the organization are working, it means that that employee should have been retained and not leaving. So what we are saying is that the reason of doing the exit interview is simply to get the reason why people are leaving. So that when you know, then it becomes part of your retention plan. And you can translate that now into a strategy to make sure that the people do what? Yes. Okay? So all we look at from you is simply, sometimes you just give them like a form. Okay, I understand you're leaving. Tell us some of the reasons why you're leaving. And then you simply state what are your reasons. Okay? First of all, however, the reasons for leaving can be classified under the following. Can be classified as follows. Where do you think people leave?
Might be classified what?
Might be classified as follows. Why do you think people leave?
People leave because they find better.
Greener pasture.
Exactly. That's the best thing.
Greener pasture, we haven't even seen how big is the pasture. Just know it looks green, but you don't know how green it's going to last. Sometimes green becomes brown over time.
If you don't know time, it will become.
Oh, you see? So to remain green means something has to be done. It's not just it will remain green forever as it is. So people leave basically maybe to get a better pay. So they are looking at that, no, maybe I'm getting double from what I'm getting here. So obviously that's enough. And with these economical challenges, everyone is looking at how they can sustain themselves to these economic conditions. And because of that, it means if they're given a better pay, why not? People tend to leave. Sometimes it can also be in terms of career prospects. So what does your career path look like? Probably where you're going, you feel like that, no, I'm going to reach my highest potential because of my career. And usually this is attributed because maybe in where you are working in the organization, you don't see any future concerning growth in terms of your career. Okay? And usually such organizations, maybe in terms of promotions, they do them maybe after a very long period of time. And even sometimes even maybe the structure is not clear, such that you don't even know that if you are to be promoted, then what is your next position? So you don't really know where you are heading, even in terms of growth in that particular organization. But sometimes you look at your career path, and where you think that maybe in another organization I'll have a better career path, then you basically go to that particular organization. Okay. So it can be that, okay, you have done accounting and what you aspire to become maybe is a director of finance. But you look at the organization and the one that you're currently working at, you see that there is no chance that you'll become the director of finance. But in another organization, you see that, okay, if I work for this organization for a number of years, I can see myself having that prospect of becoming the director. Then definitely you go to that organization.
Yeah.
Because when we are also working, what we are also looking at as employees is that we want to also realize what? Growth. Okay? So we don't want to be in the same position for a very long period of time. We want to also see that again, we are also progressing. Yeah?
Okay, so I'm human resource.
What?
If I get to be employed in a certain organization, so you mean maybe, okay, obviously maybe I cannot start as a human resource manager. It's not that easy. Maybe what do we call them? Human resource assistant, something like that. So you'd expect to be promoted. I don't think nothing.
Pardon?
I don't think it will happen. Because unless the human resource manager or I don't know, the top manager for the human resource leave.
Yes. But it's also possible that with what you're saying, you even see that even if he leaves, I still don't stand a chance. So that's what I'm saying is that you're probably analyzed that, you know what, I don't see any chance for growth in this organization. But you see that possibility in another organization. But it's also possible that you are working as a human resource manager, but that's not what you aspire to do. There's something else. Maybe you wish to be dealing with administrative issues, because HR administration, it's almost the same. Yeah? And you're looking at that, there's no any other chance that in that particular organization you will behave maybe in terms of administrative duties. But it's something that you aspire to do. And you think that you can be given that chance in another organization. Because even believe you me, there are also times where when you're working in a certain department, you also sometimes feel like you need a career change. Okay? So you could be an assistant human resource, but it's not what you really dream of doing. You feel you should have a career change and do something else different. So if you think that those aspirations cannot be met from within where you're working, then obviously you look at it outside the organization. Okay? Because we do have even some organizations who would prefer to combine administrative duties together with what? HR. The same even in finance, you might have seen such positions as saying they want finance and administration manager. Yeah? So it means they want somebody who has expertise in both. Yeah? And it is even possible that you might have a first degree in human resources, but doesn't necessarily mean that if you do your master's, you also do human resources. Maybe you think of doing another course different. Now, I'm just saying that you might, I don't know, it's up to you, right? I'm not saying that I'm dictating. Yeah, but you can have a choice to say, okay, I want to maybe diversify myself and do something else also different. So that I can, stand a chance in either, to persuade in terms of the direction of what I'm doing in my master's or what I'm doing even in terms of my first degree. So it's not a mandate that because you've done HR, means your master's also has to be HR. I did finance. My master's is administration. I just do finance again. I ended finance with my.
Is that not hard?
Pardon? It's not. It's not. When you look at some of the subjects that you are doing, you find that whatever the case, they are cross-cutting. Yeah, and because of that, it means it's easy to jump into another discipline. Unless it's technical. Yeah? For example, you can't say that you're doing human resources and then you say, I want to do a master's in IT. Like you don't know anything about saying that and I want to go and do nursing at master's level, it'll be difficult because you don't have a basic foundation, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you look at the most management sciences, it's easy to maneuver from one field to another.
Okay.
Management, yes? Because, for example, HR, BBA, marketing, entrepreneurship, accounting, all of those are in the management science.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy for you to move from one day and go into another direction. So I did that because I got tired with figures. I didn't want to do much of the accounting. I got tired with it, and I said, you know what? I'd rather do administration so that I can also sort of broaden myself. That I can not only just do finance things, but I can also do administrative duties. So the danger of also specializing, as what you're saying, is that to do a first degree in human resource and then to do a master's in human resource, which means the only position that you can hold. Exactly. So you want to limit yourself. So that's where now you come now to diversify. With the intention that, you know what, even though they want an administrator, you can still say that, you know what, but I do have a master's in administration. Besides that, I do have a finance background, but I can also do administrative duties. So it's like you're broadening out yourself. But also, you need to give yourself chance and time to make such decisions because you have to also understand the dynamics of what is happening outside. Exactly. Yeah? If myself right now, if I'm given a chance to say, you want to do a PhD, what are you going to do? Yeah, I'd rather go for project management now. So we're looking at the dynamics of the market because right now we find that there are a lot of NGOs and there's a lot of potential when it comes to issues concerning project management. Because project management means you can head in an organization as a project manager, but also yourself in your personal capacity, you can undertake the project on yourself. Yeah. So whether you want to invest yourself and have your own NGO, maybe to be winning grants and handling a specific project that you might have done a proposal in, it means you can do it for your own and not even work for another. So it's two-phased. Yeah. So right now, really with NGOs, project management, M&E, monitoring and evaluation are the top-notch jobs at the moment. So that's why I'm saying that you need to also understand the trend of what is happening in the market, in your surroundings. So what are the most important jobs that we see nowadays? What are the common positions that we see? Yeah. So gone are those days that we're always looking for accountants, what. There are also other positions which people are very aspiring to do. There's one that is also upcoming, resource mobilization. Yeah, a lot of organizations are also looking at such kind of position. Quality assurance managers. Yeah, so these are certain areas that are now, of interest. So you begin also to look at what is happening in the industry and try to align yourself with that. Cyber security is something that is also coming up now. Why? Because of the lot of risks that are happening when it comes to issues concerning the usage of the internet. Yeah, issues of fraud and all that. So now it has also become, a hot topic on issues concerning cyber security. So those are issues that again you can also align yourself and look at the needs of the industry, the needs of the local market. Okay? So yeah, it can be in terms of career prospects. Sometimes it can also be in terms of job security. Yeah. So when you're working, obviously you want to feel secure that I'm in this position for a long period of time. Not that you're working and you're constantly thinking that maybe tomorrow is my last day. Then there's no job security there. Okay? So sometimes people may leave because again, maybe where they're working, they don't feel secure. They feel like their position is under threat. Anything can happen at any time. Yeah? A typical example is where we see, again, maybe companies negotiating in terms of mergers, acquisitions. At those particular times, your job is always, at a position whereby you know that any time I can lose this position. Yeah? So here in Malawi, we had two banks where FGH bought MSB. MSB was Malawi Savings Bank. Yeah? But now, I would imagine that this bank buys this particular bank. Does it mean that it's going to take also including all the employees? It means some employees have to be what? Left out. So imagine at the time where they're negotiating this and the employees get to know that, you know what, we are about to be bought by another organization. Would you feel that your job is safe? Or yes, it's not? Yeah. Because I mean, they are already a full-fledged bank, which means they already have employees in each position and all the branches. So why would they want more staff?
They would want more, but because the organization is
Big, maybe staff. Yes. So what it means is, yes, I agree with you. So it means that not all positions, isn't it? Yeah, but that's why I'm saying that some will still feel like, you know what, we are the best of losing our what? Our jobs. So think about somebody probably who is the head of the banking services. And here we also have a head of banking. So are we going to have two? Obviously we have to have one. So one person has to relinquish. Yeah? Anyway, it depends on the decisions that we make and how as you have said, the growth and how maybe we can create a senior position or probably even deputizing, right? Yeah, but you're also looking at issues concerning the budget. Do you also have the financial capacity to do so? Well, or is it just going to create also a lot of complications? Right. Yeah, so again, we're talking about job security. Again, also it can also be that you're looking at the opportunities to develop. So you're looking at development, which as I have said, growth. So it might not just be growth in terms of your career, but we're also talking about maybe in terms of the skills, knowledge, experience. Yeah? I've heard a number of people saying, you know what, I'm just going to work there for the sake of I just want some experience. Okay? So you're looking at more opportunities in terms of development. So you want to develop maybe specific skills, knowledge, or abilities. Sometimes it might also be in terms of the working conditions. So organizations differ in terms of their working their working conditions. So those are issues that again might make you leave where you are when you feel that maybe your working conditions are not ideal, but another organization has probably the ideal conditions that you are looking for. Sometimes it might also be the relationship with our peers or with our manager. Working relationships. Maybe you have a bad relationship with your manager, your team